This is Neds AFL Unpopular Opinions with Alastair Lynch, Tom Rockliff and Dylan Leach.
Welcome to another edition of Neds AFL Unpopular Opinions, where we'll argue about petty rule changes, who's going to make the 8, who didn't play well, what's making us unhappy. The footy bubble can be frustrating, but geez, it's a wonderful bubble to be in. And when we've got, 2 games separating between 2nd and 13th, the game's going okay. But that won't stop us from saying something's wrong. That's why we're here. Hello, everyone. My name is Dylan Leach. Good to be with you for another week, and joining me like he does each and every single week is, what is it? Alberton Oval was built on bricks, mortar and Tom Rockliff. The foundations of the Port Adelaide Football Club.
Those foundations aren't going that well at the moment, are they?
But big day for you yesterday at Port Adelaide, I saw there. You were down visiting one of your old clubs at... what's it called this week? People First Stadium, and you had your boy run out with them?
Yeah, he did. Jack went out there, and me and Huey were in the Guard of Honour, so that was exciting. He loved it. He was a bit nervous, but put on his big boy pants and ran out there. He loved it after it, but a few nervous moments pre-game.
So is your boy a Port Adelaide fan? I reckon he's a lock now.
Yeah, probably, because he ran out there, but I think he sits a bit on the fence as well. He hasn't quite nailed a team down yet. He was all in Brisbane last year, grand final, had the flag jumper on, but he grew up at Port Adelaide, so probably leaning.
How old is he? How old's Jack?
6, almost 7.
Yeah, 6 or 7. He's got to make a decision soon. I think once you're about 6 or 7, that's when you can make a decision.
Yeah. When your dad's a club legend at both,
it's true. That's true. Yeah, well, your old man's. But he's eligible for Brisbane father-son.
Brisbane father-son.
Can't play for Port.
As it stands at the moment, but we don't know what's going to happen with father-sons.
That could change. The rule will probably change about 7 times before he's eligible. Now, there's been a selection change this week. Rocky, Alastair Lynch is away. Where is he this week? He's somewhere on some junket with something.
Maldives, I think.
He's in the Maldives.
I think so. I think.
Doing some seminar about something.
Yeah, something.
So instead,
what does he do during the week?
I don't know what Lynch
He always
does.
comes in dressed up, always got to go somewhere, meeting, I don't know.
Let's just say he's a legitimate businessman, Alastair Lynch.
Signing books at...
Lifeline events, at second-hand book fairs. There is that, but it's a bit like old times because off the bench, well, no, he does a Snapshot each and every week, but he also hosts the Rugby League podcast. He's
award-winning rugby league
He's a
podcast.
man that lets you know that you can like both sports, and that's a beautiful thing. Yeah. Ryan Cook, welcome back.
Thank you, Dylan. I'm a code hopper, code hopper. It's good to be back. Good to be back with the boys, reunited, and it feels so good.
Award-winning? What award?
The self award.
Just good bloke award. Good host.
Just Ryan gives himself a pat on the back award.
I was going to say,
Do you listen every week, surely?
Surely the AFL one would be quite a far way in front. Probably not after that sentence. A long way in front of the NRL, wouldn't it?
Tell you what, it's quite a field when you've got both the Neds produced podcasts against each other.
I know, some rivalry here.
Boy, is it a
and Rocky's a blue.
Yeah, New South Wales, of course, yes. It's got State of Origin this week.
Born in Lismore, northern New South Wales.
Great part of the world.
Couple of years in casino and then ventured down to country Victoria. So I don't give them much hope. I think they'll get belted tomorrow night. But
we're recording this on a Monday afternoon with the Tuesday morning published. So tomorrow night when you're listening to this.
Yes.
Tomorrow night when you're listening to this. And Ryan, you'd be up and about the Hawks.
Hawks are flying, mate. Big game this week against Collingwood, but it's very exciting.
Basically an elimination final.
Feels like it.
It's this week, yes, against Hawthorn. Saturday twilight should be a beauty. Now, I did mention at the top of the program, looking at the ladder, we do have 2 games. 2 games, can you believe it? Separating a 2nd from 13th, which is wild. And there's 6 games in play. So, boys, I know we did this a couple of weeks ago. Well, you and Lynchy did it. Can I just get you to have another play with the ladder predictor? And at the end of the show, can you tell me how it ends up? Because if you have a look at the ladder from 4 weeks ago compared to now, it is completely different. You had Collingwood basically getting back into the top 4 and looking on track for back-to-back flags, but right now they're 12th. The Brisbane Lions have somehow ended up in the top 4 again.
Overnight almost.
Well, Sydney, we'll get onto them in a minute. Sydney and Carlton, that's about the same. Geelong have sort of found their groove again. It's been bumpy old ride, hasn't it?
Well, Carlton have stopped as well. They were flying against the Giants, and then since then at quarter time they've gone downhill rapidly. Brisbane Lions, I mean, everyone was calling for Fagan's head. He couldn't coach. He couldn't get them to where they needed to go. They potentially finished top 2 again and home final, and may make their way to a grand final. So massive game this Sunday. Looking forward to that one. That's probably match of the round. I know you asked that at the end of the show, but Brisbane and Sydney Gabba Sunday afternoon should be a ripper.
Probably the biggest New South Wales and Queensland football clash to be played in Brisbane this week, I would have thought.
I would think so.
Yeah.
I would think so. There's no doubting that. I know that Ryan spent the last 2 hours rambling on about state of origin, but it should be sets up. Equalisation certainly working from the AFL's point of view. It's an exciting season. We whinge and bitch a lot as media personalities in our show.
That's our job. If we said everything's fine, we wouldn't have a job.
But it's fantastic, isn't it? And I mean, the Adelaide Crows, they're starting to play some better footy as well. So 13 teams being able to play finals with 6 or 7 weeks to go, it's pretty exciting.
It is a good problem to have. I'd rather have that than the 8 completely locked in. What did we take out of the weekend, boys? I know I ask this every week, but we got to... I know we're saying life is good and we're meant to be glass half full at the start of the show, but this is a glass half empty segment.
Yeah.
What's on your quince? What's on your goat? What's going to make you stand out in the room and go... He said what?
Well, nothing, because everyone's said it already. My unpopular opinion, though, is the Gold Coast Suns. They do need to grow up, as Dimmer said a couple of weeks ago.
Last week.
But they're a different team at home. With the outs that they had on the weekend, Tuke Miller, et cetera, but they still found a way to dismantle a pretty good team, Port Adelaide. We know Port have had their issues. You don't know which Port's going to turn up sometimes, but... Gold Coast, they'll go down to Giant Stadium this week, get touched up, and we'll be sitting here saying the same thing. That they need to play finals footy sooner rather than later. They've got a prime opportunity, but they need to win on the road.
Well, they've got, you would think looking at their run home, they've got 2 opportunities where they could jag the away win. And you are right, they do look like a completely different team when they play at home compared to when they play away. I say when you don't know which Port Adelaide or Western Bulldogs is going to turn up, well, you do know which Gold Coast Suns is going to turn up. It just depends on who's the home team or not. Gold Coast have away games against West Coast in Perth, and which could be a very emotional fixture, the return game against Richmond in round 24, my Tigers, at the MCG. So that'll be Dimmer returning back to the MCG and, with all the Dusty rumours and stuff.
In front of about 10,000.
Well, we'll get onto that in a minute.
Yeah, having you blokes, actually. I can't wait to get to Richmond. We'll 19,000 or something yesterday. Absolutely disgraceful, but...
Whatever.
Geez, they turn up when they're winning and they don't when they lose.
Well, you would know what a low crowd looks like from your career there, Rockliff. Thank
you. So they've got the Giants this week, the Suns. So you speak about their away games, what they can win. They can potentially win that game. The Giants aren't going that well. Then they've got the Lions at home. We've seen what they did last year against Brisbane at home. They absolutely dismantled them.
So I'd have the Lions. I just can't see the Lions. The Lions are like Carlton this time last year. I just can't see them losing a
Red
game.
hot, yeah.
They're just hot.
We can jinx and we can stop anyone. So
we do have that reputation.
Not too happy that you've said that about my Brisbane Lions.
Oh, the yours.
Eagles. So if they're good enough, Gold Coast, they play finals this year. They've got 2 or 3 on the road that they can potentially win, as you said, and their games at home. Essendon as well. They've got them away, which I wouldn't be saying that Essendon are a lock because they're as inconsistent as anyone, and they may even slide. And you asked about predictions. I think they finish in the 8 now because they beat Collingwood a couple of weeks ago.
They've also got some favourable fixtures as well.
Crows this coming week.
Yeah, they've got like the Crows on.
So Gold Coast for me.
So if you're a Gold Coast Suns at the Gold Coast Suns this week, you've had that good win against Port. You've seen what you can do, but you know that you've got that away record just in your head, hovering around. What's the dialogue at training this week? It's not like because you're playing away, and this is, with all due respect to GWS, it's not an intimidating crowd or intimidating stadium. It's the crowd that turns up, and that's just the reality of what a GWS game is. It's not you're going to Perth. You're not going to anything hostile.
Yeah.
What is the rhetoric?
Well,
what happens?
That is a difficult ground to play at, though. Hawthorn's famously struggled. They're all the good sides in the past 10 years have struggled to play down there.
It's a cow paddock as well.
Yeah. There's no crowd there, but it's different for the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
But they should be used to that environment in the fact that they're not playing in front of those big crowds. And we've seen on the weekend there wasn't a great deal there. But it's a tough venue, particularly out there. Giants play that ground reasonably well. So I don't think they'll get the job done. And I think they will miss finals. But they do need to grow up at some point as a footy club and play September action.
And I guess in terms of the moving on to other teams that are a bit Jekyll and Hyde or very predictable, on the weekend you saw, I think last week it was Essendon are the real deal. Hang on, they're not, because Melbourne certainly did a number of them on Saturday night. You talked about Port Adelaide. You don't know which Port's going to turn up. I think we mentioned on the show last week that the Western Bulldogs were going to turn up against Carlton, and they did. How can teams be this sort of how do teams end up just being this inconsistent?
Great question.
How? What is? Could someone answer that?
Well, AFL footy is so even now, and you only have to be a couple of % off. Momentum's a massive thing in footy, and the best pressure for me is still scoreboard pressure. And Carlton on the weekend have an opportunity to win that game. Curnow kicks 3-7. I know the Dogs are a bit inaccurate in front of goal as well, but you've got to take your opportunities when they come. When you've got that momentum, you've got to really capitalise on it, and teams aren't doing that at the moment, which leaves the door open for the other team.
And they've given, Carlton especially, they've given out some big scores. They've given away some big scores the past couple of weeks as well.
I think the three teams you've mentioned there too have struggled for the last 2 or 3 years with goal kicking. They've been three of the most inaccurate teams in front of the sticks, and that's the problem with them week to week.
Turns out bad kicking is bad football.
Exactly.
Bad kicking is bad football.
Of everything that changes in the game over 150 years, scoreboard is still the number one. If you go inside 50 20 times and kick 15 goals 5, you're going to win more games than you lose. But unfortunately, we don't see that.
No. Maybe we should see more. Ryan, do you have anything to take from the weekend?
Man, I just love the footy. I have no complaints at all.
Oh, thanks,
I think the umpiring's been great, especially in the under-18s game. That was fantastic.
God. Did you see that?
My country absolutely robbed.
Sorry, what was that?
My country, Vic country.
Oh, your country, right.
What did you think?
Never mind what you said there. Yes, so...
That's another show.
For those who may not missed it, now, believe it or not, I'm all of a sudden more interested in under-18 Champions games than I have been in recent years for obvious reasons.
They almost had more of a crowd there at that game than they did at
Well, they got a far more comfortable and they got a far more entertaining contest. But so, recap to us what happened. Basically, the umpire paid a free kick to Vic Metro inside 50 with a goal, with seconds remaining, and then a 50-metre penalty for dissent.
Yeah, so Vic Country kicked a goal with about 30 seconds to go. Centre square bounce, Metro win it. Free kick paid against the Country defender who took an intercept mark late on the ground, threw the footy back, and then has obviously said something to the umpire, 50-metre penalty.
Do we know what he said?
I don't know. Well, unlike an AFL broadcast, we had the count-up clock, which was great. And the umpires weren't mic'd, so we couldn't actually tell what the. Could you imagine what would have happened if this happened in an AFL match?
Oh, it's
could you imagine
front page news? Yeah.
What these scenes would be?
Yeah, incredible. Well, he's obviously said something, so he's got to learn to shut his mouth.
And they're future umpires too.
Yeah, they are, and you've got to show respect and restraint towards umpires. And watching the replay, 50-50 whether it gets paid or not.
But yes,
in
the words of Molly Meldrum, do yourself a favour and look up the last 2 minutes of the Vic Metro Vic Country game. Tom is very disappointed for his country.
You say if it happens in an AFL game, it should be when.
When? Well, it will happen.
Well, it sort of
in
has.
A final.
Yeah.
In a final, that would be.
There was the 50-metre paid. Was Sydney got the 50 metres when was it Western Bulldogs? Marvel,
it was
only a couple of weeks ago. It wasn't to win the game, but it sort of finished that game.
Interchange infringement last year as well.
Yeah,
the Swans got a couple of administrative errors that got them into the finals last year. Speaking of the Swans,
here he goes.
No, Tom's on now. I just want to say, game recognised game. Every fan base has their nuffies, and they're all unique types of nuffies. They're all their own unique brand of nuffies.
Talking from self-experience here, or
Did I not?
He was speaking in the mirror. I think.
Did I not just say at the start of of this segment, game recognised game? It takes one to know one in this
yes,
case.
it does. What was your former role up here in Queensland?
Exactly. Peak Nuff role. It was a great
President.
role. President.
El
of the supporters
Presidente.
group. It was a great time. Got the club.
Dangerous being a president at the moment or ex-president.
Yes.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers with.
Would you take a bullet for the Tigers?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Take a bullet.
Laugh.
Shouldn't let
Yeah.
it. Anyway,
Get to your point. Sorry, we cut you off a couple of times.
I just want to say the Sydney Swans, as a club and as a fan base, over the past week have reached their peak nuffiness. And I don't think they're aware of it, but it's a very unique brand of nuffiness, the Swans one. And I think we've worked out what Blood's culture is. And that's not to have a sense of humour or a sense of fun. Because not only... Okay, so say what you like about the Isaac Heaney verdict. Okay, and you and I, we had that discussion last week. I said, no.
Disgraceful. Yeah.
But
go on.
it was the league was. We saw that coming a mile ago. I saw that coming a mile away for what the league was.
Well, you're
after
better
this
off
year.
turning around, punching someone in the chin. You're more chance to get off than.
Well, we'll try that after the show. Anyway, and then they released the Isaac Heaney hostage video on social media, which is just bizarre. And like everyone's like, okay, lighten up. Mate, he got suspended for a week. He's missing a game against North Melbourne. He's not missing the season. He's not missing the grand final. He's missing a round 18 game against North Melbourne. And then GWS, who are the absolute gold standard of social media.
The Kings. They do it so well.
Who's their media manager?
Jacob Gaynor is his name. He's an absolute gun.
Deserves to have his name out there. He's a star.
He's an absolute star. Gets Toby Green to do a parody of the video. And then all of a sudden, Tom Harley goes on SEN the next day, gets asked about it. And he could have just said, oh, yeah, it's a bit of fun. You know, the good rivalry is good. He's like, oh, no, I wouldn't have done that. It was a bit classless. And it's like, oh, my God. The Swans fandom is a bit happy clappery. That's their nuffiness. Yeah. They are the happy clappers of football. They're a bit Hillsong Church Swans nuffies. They're not feral. They're not feral nuffies. They're a bit Hillsong Church. They're a bit, hands in the air, ScoMo at Hillsong Church like areas.
They're your real teal voters, aren't they?
In that part of the world, in that part of the world, Bond. Actually, they would be. Yeah. A lot of them do live in teal electorates. That you bring if you're bringing politics into this, and what a great week to bring politics into this discussion.
So the wash up out of that. So Tom Harley said, "Oh, he's a champion.
Yeah.
It's pretty disrespectful from Toby." Blah blah. Toby and Isaac are in business together.
They're mates.
They're mates. And they're in business. Yeah. So you got to see it for what it is. And everyone, I think, had a good laugh at it on social media that's seen it. Well, I certainly did. I thought it was quite humorous.
It was great.
Got the clicks that you would have wanted from it.
But you might recall earlier in the year, Tom, you and I had this discussion where I'm like, so clubs are having fun on social media. Yeah. Fans are loving it, but I'm telling the fun police are going to come and try crack down on it.
Well, I think Roosie was the original fun police, wasn't he? He doesn't like...
Well, he started the Bloods culture, so there's no surprise there. And Lynchy's not here, so he's not going to go into bat. Oh, no, don't say anything mean about Roosie.
Is he a Roosie defender, is he?
Well, teammate.
They were best mates at Fitzroy back in the day.
So... Yeah, no, I think they need to lighten up, don't they? I think it was great banter, and that's
we
his
need more
job.
of it.
Yeah,
absolutely, we do.
And at the end of the day, if you think that's going to dictate your performance on the weekend, or a win or a loss, or you're kidding yourself. So
Sydney's response is the latter.
Yeah.
Sydney are probably going to win the premiership. I mean, don't get me wrong. I thought Sydney had some of the best comedy in football history when they wanted to do a best of three grand final series. I thought that was one of the best gags they ever could have come up with.
You love that one.
Oh, stupidest idea I've ever heard in my life. But anyway.
Richmond probably wouldn't have won any grannies if it was best of three. The Crows would have got 2 at home, won that. Yeah.
Well, you'd know about playing in grand finals from your career there, Tom.
Well, let's talk about Richmond, though.
Yeah, what about Richmond?
Is that embarrassing yesterday?
That was incredibly embarrassing, yeah.
What was embarrassing about it?
The fact that you had 19,000 there at the MCG Sunday afternoon. I know you're playing the Giants, but the night before, I think there was 25 in bucketing rain. It's just the crowd's a bit off in Melbourne, middle of winter. School holidays, you'd expect a better crowd, wouldn't you?
And it's made even worse when the West Coast fans still show up in Perth.
you know what?
So so to the point of this bringing this point up is that you turn up 60,000, can't get tickets when you're winning.
Yep.
Now all of a sudden you're losing.
Yep.
Where are you?
How many members have you got?
Richmond.
Yeah.
About 95,000. So despite them not turning up, Richmond still has their money.
Yeah, but that's besides the point.
But 95,000, you get 19 there. It's middle of school holidays or end of school holidays.
And, yeah.
Like Sunday afternoon,
Yeah.
prime time, get the kids to the footy.
Yeah.
Nice weather.
Excuses.
Sun was out, wasn't it?
Like you left at 3/4 time. You would never have done that a couple of years ago, only a month ago. And
It's a
now,
sign of the times.
and
If I was
now-
living in Melbourne, I would have been there yesterday. I don't live in Melbourne anymore.
No,
so
so you
that's
got no
my-
excuses.
Well, that's my excuse. I don't live in Melbourne. Did you want me to fly down? Should I fly down every week for it?
Well, it's just I find it quite incredible that you just don't turn up. It's all one way with Richmond supporters, always has been, and they're the first ones to turn on their club and turn on their team.
To be honest, if I was there yesterday and the rusted ons were kind of appreciating that, it's like, oh, it's just back to us now. It's just the rusted ons.
So you like the bandwagons done? You like them to be off?
No, I don't. I kind of get it though. Like, not everyone goes
What do you
week
get?
in, week out. Like, I get it. Not everyone goes week in, week out. We're 18th on the ladder. Every team that is last on the ladder is going to have a drop in crowds. And West Coast, there's nothing to do in Perth.
There's your clip.
That's the reason they turn up in Perth. There's a 10-year waiting list for a seat to go to West Coast games.
A 10-year wait, and they're on the bottom. So that just shows that that's why they're the best club in the competition.
That's because there's nothing to do in Perth.
I think it shows that people want to go and see Harley Reid play.
Exactly.
But why aren't Richmond people wanting to go and see Dustin Martin
Well,
play?
no, they did. 90,000 turned up to his 300th
Yeah,
game.
it's
You
got to
might
be a
recall.
300th though, doesn't it?
Dusty, when teams
We're
are down the
speaking-
bottom of the ladder,
We're speaking about getting rid of teams out of the competition.
Oh, get rid of
back.
Richmond.
I think so. It might
Get
be
rid of
time to
Richmond.
have a serious discussion about Richmond and whether they stay in the competition. or
Merge
not.
with North Melbourne.
Yeah, maybe they should
Dusty's
merge.
going there anyway. So.
he's going to North now.
Maybe
is he?
it's
He's
time
finally
for
going to
Richmond.
North.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time for Richmond to fold.
Yeah.
You're an idiot. Richmond is not you're going to get crap crowds when you're not playing well. It happens to every club. You might recall that when you played at Brisbane.
Yeah,
At Brisbane,
but Brisbane non-traditional footy state. We still. I think we still got better crowds than what you got yesterday.
When Essendon were crap, when Essendon were down the bottom of the ladder during the top-up player list years in 2016, they were getting 15,000 at games. Collingwood was getting crap attendances. Carlton was getting crap attendances. To be honest, I think attendance talk in football. Sometimes it's good banter, but sometimes it's actually really petty and
We don't
boring.
have good banter, Tom. So
It's real
that's what he's
petty.
just told us.
No,
This isn't petty.
no, but
This is
it's
good
like
banter. Richmond, North Melbourne merge, and then we'll go back to 16 teams and
Yeah.
Well, it's 17 teams.
Have a healthy competition.
Solves everything.
Well, I'm still-
Richmond, North Melbourne merge.
Yeah.
Because 19,000 turned up
Yeah.
to a game in mid-July when Richmond's 18th on the ladder against an opponent that doesn't have any other
Writings
fans.
on the wall.
It's not good for the game deal. We can't have this. Sunday Arvo fixture.
Guys are ridiculous. That would have been a sellout in Launceston.
Yeah. Don't bring the Hawks.
Yeah,
into this.
exactly. And Brisbane Lions got 19,000 during.
Snapshot.
Yeah,
If
let's
the
go.
Brisbane Lions
What else do we
The
got?
Brisbane Lions got 19,000 during
Speaking-
Tom's career. That'd be considered a blockbuster.
Speaking
in his
of
time.
losers, let's get to the multis.
All right, let's do
Yeah.
it. Snapshot time.
All the betting trends you need to know from the world of footy. This is the Snapshot.
It's that part of the show where we talk some betting. And this week, Rocky, we got a special guest. It's Dylan Leach.
Oh, it's good to be here again on the show. Good to have the whole family here, except Lynchy. He can't do it.
Yeah,
So
boo.
out Leach. Oh no, out Lynch in Leach,
Get
I
it
should
right.
say. Oh, God, having a mare.
You're frazzled after all that Richmond chat. aren't
Oh,
you?
that
You're having
crowd
a good,
talk.
good hard look at yourself.
I know. I really should have flown down for that game. I really let the club down.
Who have they got this week? Is Ned's got a
Port
market
Adelaide.
on overs,
We
unders?
got the team you built the foundations of.
Collingwood in a couple of weeks. When's Richmond's next home game? Can we get an overs-unders market from Neds?
Goodness
Actually,
me.
you don't have a home game for a long time.
No, we don't actually. Ryan.
St Kilda. St Kilda at Marvel.
Yeah, there we go.
That'll be 12,000.
Absolute blockbuster.
Won't be
Anyway.
kids in free. That'll be everyone in free for that one. Ryan, should we less crowd talk and more footy stats and stuff? Because not only is this on the podcast, but our viewers on YouTube.
That's it. Yeah, we're
This is-
live.
This is where the numbers are.
This is I'm told we learn and earn.
Sometimes
segment.
we've only earned once this year, but
still earned.
we've spoken about your team, Dill, Richmond. We're going to talk
about-
about mine now. We actually haven't spoken Hawthorn at all this year, really, Rocky. So
Yep.
let's get into some Hawk talk. Big game Saturday, Arvo for the Hawks against Collingwood. 12 takes on 13th. You wouldn't often say that's a big game, but as you said at the start of the show, Dill, it feels like an elimination final. The Hawks aren't a real high-scoring team. We saw that last week in Launceston, and they have been one of the best teams, though, at limiting teams when it comes to inside 50 entries. They also rank towards the top of the league in limiting opponents around the clearances. The other side, the Pies are hampered through injuries, and they aren't scoring a lot of points either. Do you think we can get into some backing the under for this game? Would you steer the punters into that one?
Yeah, I reckon maybe at the MCG, I'd have to have a look at the weather. I think weather plays a big part sometimes in this as well, so I'll quickly do that. But they're certainly going better than I expected, Hawthorn. The favourites going in this game as well, which you'd be very surprised at, wouldn't you? You'd be
Only
leaning
slightly,
towards,
yeah.
pretty tight. Going to be wet, so definitely go unders. Would be my backing.
Yeah, Riley, can I ask you as a Hawthorn supporter, even if you don't make the finals, would this be as satisfying a season you could have for a team that doesn't make the 8?
I wouldn't
Potentially.
say satisfying is the right word, Dill, because there's been
Pleasing.
but there's been some losses like that Port Adelaide loss that we should have won. It's been a frustrating season for a lot of reasons, and a lot of injuries have made it frustrating as well. I don't know if Sicily sees out the year, so I think our season sort of hinges on whether or not he plays the next 6 weeks or so, but it's definitely been a step in the right direction.
So you can appreciate the method to the madness that Sam Mitchell has sort of put in, and even putting Sam Mitchell there as coach and what has done.
I think what he did, especially last weekend, putting Sicily up forward is like a stroke of genius. No, coaches aren't game to do that in the middle of a game. So I think that could be something that we see going forward. I don't know if you agree with that, Rocky.
Yeah, I think so. He's willing to have a crack, and the game was sort of on the line there a little bit. Fremantle had the domination, but just couldn't hit that scoreboard, and then throw Sicily forward, and he went bang, bang, kicks a couple, gets him over the line.
Makes a lot of sense. The other game we've got to preview is on Sunday afternoon up here in Brisbane. Lions taking on the Swans, top 4 clash. Swans back in the winner's circle last week with that big win over North. Lions are flying, as we've already touched on. Brisbane slight favourites in this one. That's probably mainly due to home field advantage. Worth noting that the last 5 games between the pair have all gone over the total. Which way are you leaning on this one?
I think it'll go over again, high scoring venue. I think the conditions should be pretty good. Sunday afternoon footy, high scoring venue, 21 degrees, sun shining. I'm leaning towards Brisbane. I think their form's been better than what Sydney, as silly as that sounds, Sydney have come off a couple of losses, had a good win against North Melbourne. It's an absolutely mouth-watering midfield matchup, though. I think potentially a grand final preview on the basis that I think Brisbane can still finish top 2 or 3, win that first final. Sydney have pretty much locked away top spot. So this is certainly game of the round. All eyes will be on it. Hopefully they fly the commentators up. It should be a Fox game deal. I'm sure you'll be rooting for the commentators to be live at the venue. But I think it's going to be an absolutely incredible game, and leaning towards Brisbane.
How good's Lockie Neal at the moment?
3 straight, you're saying?
Oh, he's on the way. What was it? I see on the weekend he got 34 disposals, 13 clearances, 2 goals. Maybe a good one for multis because Lockie Neal's got 2+ goals, I think, the past 3 weeks.
Yep.
Or something along those lines. So that might be another one to consider.
Be good value too, I'd imagine.
Absolutely.
In the 7s, is he now? On the Brownlow?
Yeah, he is, yeah.
4th line of betting.
Cripps is still the favourite, I think.
You won't be getting him at 13s like I did last year. But
Well, you could have got him at 15s last week.
I really should.
Yeah.
I really should. Wonderful hindsight, Ben. Wonderful hindsight.
On the Brownlow chat, he's not going to have a lot of people that take votes off him. Dunkley finds the footy and does a lot of stuff under packs, which umpires don't notice, where Neil has started to add that element of goal kicking and outside, and he's obviously obviously gets noticed a lot by the umpires.
I heard the boys on First Crack saying that Lachie Neale's still very underappreciated. Do you think he is?
Yeah, I think so. I think internally, certainly not. They understand how good of a player he is and his one-touch ability. Players with the ability to take it cleanly with one touch and execute a handball to put someone else in space, so underrated in the game across everywhere, I think. He does that week in, week out.
He's just got to get a new goal song. That how to make gravy after a goal. Just,
Yeah.
come on, Lockie. Lift your game, mate. If you're watching this, because I know he loves the Snapshot, change your song.
Let's get into the multi. Last week was pretty woeful, not our best. I went all South Australian flavour. I took the Crows to win against St Kilda, and that was their only winning leg. I also had Port to win against the Suns. And Rocky, you had a couple of favourites that you normally like.
Yeah, well, the Bont 2+, that should have covered. He had a couple of shots.
That one he kicked was unreal.
Yeah, just couldn't quite get the second one over the line. And then Zach Merritt, I thought he'd feast on Melbourne. Didn't quite get that bit of attention. Finished early 20s. I had him for 30+, so wasn't good. And then Port Adelaide, so not ideal. One from 4, but we can bounce back.
Yeah, a bit stiff. We're going a 3-legger this week. I'm going to get us started. I've taken the Bombers to cover minus 10.5 against the Crows on what is going to be a Friday night absolute blockbuster, don't you think?
Well, if it was 1993, absolutely. The Crows and Bombers, one of the great preliminary finals of all time, that one. But, look, I am going to take the expansion. I know I mentioned Lachie Neale 2+ earlier, but I want to get this multi done. I don't want to wait till Sunday. I want if we're doing a 3-legger, let's get it done by Saturday, shall we, boys? Or have you got one for the Sunday?
I've got 4:40 Sunday.
You got 4:40.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait.
Well, I want to know, what I want to do then is to feel that on 4:40 Sunday we're still within a fighting chance.
Yeah, give ourselves some hope.
Give us like a good few hours of hope.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm going to look to Saturday afternoon, the Expansion Cup, GWS versus Gold Coast. Now, one should never ever back the Gold Coast Suns away. And I'm not going to do that. I'm going to back GWS 1-39. The Giants, they're starting to look pretty good. They were, I thought for an 18th team on the ladder that my Tigers had a good crack against them, but I think the Giants are just humming along nicely. They should make the 8. They got those early season wins that sort of gave them that insurance, and they're back at home. But what's it called? NG Stadium?
Wouldn't have a clue. Sydney.
Western Sydney, the stadium behind the Olympic Stadium.
Giants Stadium.
Yeah, 1-39 Giants, Saturday Arvo, Expansion Cup.
There we go.
And as I said, 4:40 Friday, Sunday night. I'm going to take Carlton, North Melbourne. I'm going to take
North.
Charlie.
You're going north, are you?
No, they're banned. You got them up last time. But
Kanga.
I'm going Charlie Curnow to kick 4+. So he had 10 shots on the weekend, only returned 3. But I think he will have a day out against North Melbourne.
235 for that leg.
Yeah. Bit of value. Get us over the line.
What did he kick 3 last week? 49 on Coleman. So
3-7 as well last week.
yeah, 3. Yeah,
He's very short in the Coleman market.
Yeah, well, unless Ben King has a big day out.
He might kick 10. There you go.
Charlie to kick 10.
He might kick 10.
Heard it here first.
Don't put that in the multi.
I was just going to have a quick look. Can you go? It doesn't quite go.
I think you go 6+.
Yeah.
775. Ooh.
You're going to put that in the multi, are you?
I'll go with 4+.
Go 4+.
Uncle Ned mightn't like it if he went 10+. Mate.
So, recap.
Let's recap. I've gone the Bombers minus 10.5 against Crows on Friday night. Dill, you've got GWS 1-39 against the Suns, and Rocky has gone Curnow 4+ against North Melbourne, $9.37. Where can we find that, Dill?
You'll find that in the Neds app in the AFL section, and I think we even chuck it in open groups as well.
We do, yeah. Heaps of winners to be found.
Fantastic. Yeah, and we have lots of laughs.
Sometimes.
Go on, give in to temptation and treat yourself, because it's time for Dylan's Delights.
Sky rockets in flight, afternoon delight. Afternoon delight.
You are listening to Ned's AFL Unpopular Opinions. It is time for Dylan's Delights, and unlike other weeks, we've all been on the show at the same time. That was a great snapshot. Thanks for having me part of it. I missed the snapshot. It was nice to have us.
Just get your leg right, mate. That's all we ask.
Just get it right.
Go Giants.
Yeah.
How about Tom here?
But not by
Curnow.
too much.
Yeah.
Orange tsunami.
Well, yeah. Just an orange.
Just a couple of waves.
Orange shower.
Yeah.
Will do.
Yeah.
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 Anyway.
15 points.
that's within the 1 to 39 margin, so we're happy. And then your mate Kerno just goes bang, and
kick
hopefully
10.
the Bombers just do what they do and beat on teams.
We'll be out on Friday night.
Yeah, probably
We're going to be
will
out, especially when Essendon win by 8 points on Friday night. Yeah. Anyway, let's
Thanks
get
to
on
your
with
vote
it.
of confidence still.
Hey, grand final this year, they have announced, well, it's rumoured, but I think it's pretty much a done deal. Katy Perry is the pre-match act before the grand final. Thoughts?
Big get for the AFL. It's probably one of their biggest.
Big stars. I think you got to have a big star now.
Yeah.
When Robbie Williams comes out and guys like that.
Even Kiss did the job last year.
Yeah.
Like, just get reliable... Meatloaf. Just get reliable stadium acts.
Dean
Don't-
Lewis.
Oh, he sucked. He was the worst grand final act. Why would you get a sookie artist before a grand final singing songs about breaking up with your girlfriend? Whose idea was that? Richmond would have won the 2019 grand final by about 150 points if he made everyone sad before the game. Anyway, he sucked.
He's playing here soon in Brizzy.
Is he?
He might pop in and say,
Well,
what's your problem, Dill?
I haven't got a problem. I just don't want to hear songs about breaking up with your girlfriend before. I mean, with Katy Perry, you can have a bit of Hot and Cold, a bit of I Kissed a Girl and I Liked It. That's a great song. Bit of Firework.
Yeah.
Bit of Last Friday Night.
Yep. Swish, swish.
Swish, swish. Yeah. What do you like Katy Perry, Tom?
Nah, she's a Democrat. Not for me. I think
He's a Democrat.
I just made that up. Is she? I don't know. I just made it up.
I would have thought, well, she's not going to. What do you want to get?
It's a third political reference he's made today.
It's not 3AW, Tom.
I thought Acker was on today, so I did research all week about political stuff, and he's not here.
Right. Well, you were going to run for Premier. You did announce that last week. You were considering
Yeah,
running
the
for Premier-
Rockliff Party.
The Rockliff Party.
Yeah. Anyway, what's this segment on? Katy Perry.
Well, yeah. Look,
Dylan's
hey,
right.
but
She'll be good.
there's been a... I think Tom wants Kid Rock to perform at the grand final for a bit of political balance as well. Just
Are you listening to the wireless with Lynchy these days?
yeah, what are you? Tom, are you calling in to Talkback Radio now?
I've done it a couple of times. Remember when Paul Murray used to take?
Oh. Oh, you'll have your own show on Sky News at this rate. Moving right along. AFL Grand Final entertainment. There's been a notable absence at the Grand Final for a very long time. Now, I know they'll obviously get Katy Perry performing her hits, but they'll probably also get Mike Brady singing up their Kazali as per tradition. But there has been an absence where I think the greatest football song ever written has not been included at the grand final for the good part of 20 years, and that song turns 30 this year. I am, of course, talking about The Thing About Football by Greg Champion. Now, it's the 30-year anniversary of that song, released in 1994. Used to be sung at the grand final every year, was the Channel 7 footy song forever. I think it would be great to have, if we're going to have these international acts, we still got to do the old school footy songs. I think it's time Andrew Dillon and the AFL got their act together, give Greg Champion a call and get The Thing About Football back into the spectrum on grand final day.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think it's a good song, good footy song. I remember growing up in country Victoria, that's what you sung. Yeah, I think time for it to have it back. Should be on grand final day. It's up there Kazali on a even keel, I think. So
I would have him performing pre-game and then Katy performing halftime. That's what I think needs
Or maybe
to
we
happen.
could get Katy Perry to sing The Thing About Football.
Yeah, all that.
Yeah.
She'd know the lyrics.
Yeah, she can learn it. In between fireworks.
So you prefer halftime entertainment than pre-game?
Yeah, I think halftime's the way to go because people are looking for that little bit of a break. I think they do halftime entertainment, don't they?
Well,
Yeah,
But it's not like to that
I think
level
they
of
had Paul
not
Kelly.
like
It's sort of
NFL.
it's very scaled back.
Yeah.
They might get someone on at halftime to sing a few songs, but
It's not great entertainment.
no, I think it's also got to do with the shift.
Yeah.
Like the day shift, it doesn't quite complement what halftime entertainment should be. Nor should the grand final be about the entertainment. The football is the entertainment, but if you're going to have it,
she should do a post-game show as well.
well, that's what they used to have.
Yeah.
The Killers, obviously, well, that happened
Well,
with
the
the Killers,
Killers,
with
Jack.
Jack Rewalt getting on stage. But I'm pretty sure Sting did a post-game show after the Bulldogs grand final and stuff. They used to have a post-game show and people could actually see a concert on the MCG afterwards, which I thought was a brilliant initiative.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So Katy.
Katy Perry.
All in Katy.
Yeah. Doesn't matter if she's blue or red. She's going to heal the political divide by singing songs about kissing girls.
Do you think Snoop Dogg comes out with her?
Snoop Dogg with
Does he make
California
the-
Girls.
Does he make the trek?
Oh, yeah. Well, if Menulog could put him up,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not a bad
I
idea.
don't think you get through customs. The sniffer dogs will get you.
I think he was banned from one country at some point. Was it here or New Zealand? He wasn't
Somewhere,
allowed
I
to.
think, probably.
Yeah.
Now, Snoop Dogg at the now that isn't. I think you're onto something there. You know what? We're onto something. Time to wrap up on the show.
You're listening to Neds AFL Unpopular Opinions.
Time to wrap up here on Ned's AFL Unpopular Opinions and then some if you're Tom Rockliff. Boys, round 19 of the AFL this week. What are we looking forward to? We've already established that we're looking forward to Sydney and Brisbane.
Yes,
Yeah.
Sunday afternoon. I don't think you can go past it. 1:10. As I said a little bit earlier in the show, I think potential grand final preview. So
Now, wouldn't that be an advertisement for the game?
it'd be great, I reckon.
Yeah, would they be all loving that? Ryan?
Fuck the footy deal. I'm gonna double down here.
Right.
'Cause I mentioned this on the league show.
Yeah.
But Tom and I are playing golf this Friday.
Yes!
It's Wynnum
Now-
Golf Club, and it's going to be an absolute
Now,
hoot.
so this is the Hacker Majors Brisbane edition from our
Yes.
friends at
I'm going
Breaking the Yips and Hello Sport.
I'm going one better this time. I'm going hole in one. I'm not hitting the flag. I'm going hole in one.
I-
And you're not playing.
Tom, I think you need to give me some credit. I worked out earlier I shouldn't be playing and retired very quickly and let you boys play.
Yes, but when you're in those tournaments and you want to win, you need a 4 players
And
because you
that's-
need someone that just can hit the ball to some degree.
And
You
that-
can't hit
and-
the ball.
No, I can't. And that's why we're bringing in Lynchy.
Yes,
Lynchy will be playing.
I'm looking forward to Lynchy playing. He's a very good golfer, I'm hearing. So.
He's going to have his serious face on, I think.
Lynchy's the kind of guy that would play in the Legends game and take it seriously.
Well,
that's
the thing with Lynchy as well is he's not going to understand this concept because this isn't golf. This is party time. Like there's people shirts off, sculling on the first hole, carrying on. So
it's like
whether Lynchy can
it's
deal
like
with
a
that.
it's like an Oz kick for live golf kind of thing. That's the best way to describe
it
it.
is. It's
And-
like having 18 or 15 party holes. It's
Every
nuts.
hole's a party
Yeah.
hole. So the team is you, Lynchy, Ryan, and our good friend Fogs.
Well, Fox played last time, and he's a little bit better than you. Not much better.
We'll take it.
you play?
I'm not amazing, but I've played a bit of golf throughout my life, so I can.
He's at
on
least
the
picked
same.
up a club.
Yeah, I've had
look,
lessons and stuff.
I'll be there, sort of supporting, and we'll do a recap of the golf day on next week's show.
Okay.
We'll do. We'll have a. I might even record
Segment.
some segments of you two attempting golf, but we'll have that on the Ned socials as well. Thank you for the reminder there. I didn't really bring up the golf because it was going to just take me back to when I absolutely humiliated myself.
PTSD.
But then again, if you look at most of the videos on the Ned's socials,
You do
it's
it
just
every
me
time.
You get paid to do
humiliating
it.
myself for a living. So where's the dignity? I lost that years ago. Looking forward to this weekend. Oh, yeah, bloody, yeah, Sydney, Brisbane, just the footy. I just love the footy. Hawthorn, Collingwood. Geelong and the Bulldogs. That's a good one. Oh, you know what else? The ladder predictors.
Oh,
How are the
yes.
ladder predictors looking? Hang on, I want to say, because the 8's going to change, but I'm just going to go quickly through mine.
I haven't done mine. I forgot.
All right.
Shut up, Shop. He's on the golf.
So I've got
He's ready
Sydney,
to go.
Carlton, Brisbane, Geelong, Fremantle, Essendon, Giants, and Melbourne.
I've got Sydney, Carlton, Lions, Freo, Cats, Giants, Bombers, Bulldogs. Melbourne just missed. Melbourne Bulldogs and Port all on the same amount of wins, so percentage for that final spot.
I've got Collingwood 12th in my final one, and I've even, as a rule, I've just said I will not back Gold Coast away. So the Gold Coast are actually 13th. So it's Bulldogs 9th, Port 10th, Hawks 11th. Legs 11th for the
Yeah,
Hawks,
okay.
not bad. Collingwood Suns. Richmond miss the wooden spoon and finish 17th. There you go.
Beautiful.
We'll take you out with a thing about football, the greatest football song ever written. Thank you.
Just the multi first. You got to recap.
Yeah, I was about to say that. the thing about football is playing in the background
Oh, right.
for those listening, and you're about to go through the multi. if you don't mind.
Multi
So
this
go
week,
through the
just
multi.
to recap it. Essendon, Friday night. We'll probably get through Friday night. Minus 10.5.
So Bombers
at
by
the
9.
line.
Yeah.
Bombers at the line. GWS to win by 1-39.
So GWS by 40. Yep.
Yes, and Charlie Curnow 4+ on Sunday.
3 goals from
afternoon.
Charlie Curnow. Thank you.
$9.37
Why are
multi.
you so negative about this still? Like, we're just trying to, have a bit of fun here.
Just
and
have a crack.
Some good vibes
Have
would be
a crack.
nice.
I'm trying to get rid of the bad luck by pointing out the bad luck so the luck doesn't. There's method to my madness. Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks for
Enjoy the golf.
Will do.
We'll see. We'll be back to normal programming next week. Actually, Ryan's going to fill in for a couple of weeks when I'm away on the Olympics, so that will be fun.
Lots of laughs.
I'm not, and knowing my sporting skills, I should stress I'm not competing at the Olympics.
Thanks for clarifying.
We'll catch you next week.
That's how I like my footy to be. And well, that's the thing about, that's what I like about, yeah, that's the thing about football. That's what I like about, yeah, that's the thing about football. That's what I like about, yeah, that's the thing about I got a long road to walk down to catch a tram to my favorite ground. Use my legs, use my voice, make some noise, support the boys, and that's what football means to me. That's how I like my footy to be. And well, that's the thing about, that's what I like about, yeah, that's the thing about football. That's what I like about, yeah, that's the thing about football. That's what I like about, yeah, that's the thing about football. That's what I like about, yeah, that's the thing about football.
Thanks for listening to Ned's AFL Unpopular Opinions. Enjoyed the podcasts? Remember to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.